Right. So welcome. For those who don't know me, I'm Dr. Jerry Whalen of Zionsville Holistic Chiropractic and Wellness Center. As we know, a resolution or a decision can be made anytime, any day of the year. All it takes is a bit of commitment, motivation, and guidance along the way. There are many ways we can choose to implement positive changes in our lives. Tonight, my desire is to help figure out what that is for you. So who wants to have awesome health, great energy, to have an optimistic mindset, feel happy, be emotionally balanced, have a great family and work life, and be healthy throughout the rest of their life? That's everyone, right? So let's get real for a minute. Here we go. So let's get real for a minute. Who actually feels you're carrying excess weight in the midsection, even after every celebrity endorsed diet plan? Are you still tired a lot, especially after eating? Do you have food cravings that you try to satisfy with the healthy version of sweets and carbohydrates from Trader Joe's? Do you drink smoothies and juices and still add to your weight? If you have the urge to exercise, do you lie down until it goes away? Is the latest exercise equipment, such as the mirror, Nordic Track, and Peloton, now a clothes rack or a dust collector? Who tries really hard to stick to the healthy, low-fat diet your doctor recommends because there's heart disease and diabetes and cancer on both sides of your family? Have you reached that point where you wish you had done much more to be healthier? An older brother of mine, after a health crisis, once said, "If I had known I was going to live this long, I would have taken better care of myself." What if, unknowingly, the continual damage done from years of unhealthy lifestyle habits isn't being repaired? What if you unknowingly are still so deficient in good fats and essential fatty acids that you haven't been able to make a hormone in years, and your cell membranes, brain, and nerve tissue are still practically 100% trans fat? How many of you have 3 out of these 4 men in your lives? Charlie horse, arthritis, Ben Gay, but willpower is missing. What if your brain is in a fog and your memory is so poor you don't even remember when you could think clearly? What if you feel anxious about life and easily upset by the unexpected? If this sounds like you in any way, chances are high that you're suffering from chronic health conditions for which you're taking lifelong medications that you hate. On one hand, medicine offers unparalleled innovation and scientific advances. On the other hand, chronic diseases, generally considered incurable, affect approximately 133 million Americans, representing more than 40% of the total population of the country. The number is projected to grow to an estimated 157 million people, with 81 million people having multiple conditions. So people are not living longer, they're dying longer. Maybe you feel this is inevitable, or maybe you desire a different path through life, but not sure how to get there. I want to acknowledge the desire you have to be healthier. It does take great effort to eat healthier, exercise on a regular basis, sleep 7 to 9 hours per night, relate well with your loved ones, your children, your coworkers, and clients without undue stress. It is not easy, is it? My parents, aunts and uncles and grandmothers already range in age from the late 50s and 60s up to 80s for the grandmothers when I was a child. I observed their progressive health declines until their deaths. I decided I wanted to experience those years differently as I learned about what causes health. Does it surprise you that medicine disdains nutrition and lifestyle approaches to chronic illness? No medical physicians are educated on interventions that I'm sharing with you today or how to guide lifestyle changes. So if your doctor prescribes medication without first asking about your diet, your sleep, your exercise routine, your water consumption, whether you have any structural issues and the stress in your life, and you don't have a doctor, you have a drug dealer. I understand that many people feel like making big changes, big life changes that last is a very difficult thing that warrants a lot of support. This year, I'm encouraging you to take responsibility for your own health path. It can be a tough truth to realize, but as soon as we come to terms with our own sense of autonomy and realize that only we have the power to change our own health, it can open up so many doors. If you are willing to do the work now, which I know you are since you showed up for this experience, you can enjoy the process and enjoy the outcome of taking personal responsibility for your health goals. It is worth it. When you hear me say take personal responsibility, how does that make you feel and why? A key element of those who achieve better and more sustainable results is stamina. Some people call it grit, others simply call it willpower and determination. Whatever you want to call it, health goals require dedication and the ongoing desire to succeed. This is why I keep restating the importance of having a clear goal. The easier it is to recall your goal when it seems like all you want to do is give up, the easier it'll be to get yourself back on track. As you're already taking this class, you have obviously started using the resources available to you, the internet, online expertise, and like-minded people to connect with. However, so many people simply don't use the things they have access to already help them. What other resources are available to you that you might be underusing? Do you live close to a gym or fitness center that you could join? Have you looked into having a health coach? Actively seeking what we want is the only way to achieve it. Because, as harsh as it sounds, the chances of somebody coming along and handing you a quick fix or the perfect environment for you to manifest your health goals is highly unlikely. What are your favorite resources that have helped you in the past? Leave ideas and share them in the comment box. There is a better way, and that's what I'm so excited to share with you. What I'm sharing with you shouldn't be secrets, but they are. There's a world of solutions and options you might not have known even existed to release your power of self-healing, to eradicate stress, to generate energy, prevent illness, and be healthy throughout the rest of your life. Today, I'm going to be talking about 4 breakthrough methods for healing the healing system by releasing the accumulative neurological, emotional, biochemical, and toxic stresses to restore self-healing and optimum health. The future of healthcare looks very different than from the past. So, who am I? First, some background. I was originally trained as a chiropractor and graduated with honors from Palmer College of Chiropractic in 1979. Since then, I've put in thousands of hours of postgraduate training in homeopathy, acupuncture, psychology, kinesiology, and restorative endocrinology. So I'm now what they call an integrative practitioner. I have level 3 certification in what is called the Neuroemotional Technique, where I put my postgraduate training to use. So I'm a chiropractor, a nutritionalist, a homeopathic doctor, a restorative endocrinologist, and a stress reduction specialist, all integrated into one. It has taken literally decades to develop the system I'm using now. I've invested hundreds of thousands of dollars to be able to do this effectively. So I'm the owner of Zionsville Holistic Chiropractic and Wellness Center. My passion is to assist exceptionally conscientious men and women who have continual declining health from being stuck in overdrive. So together we restore your power of self-healing, eradicate your stress, restore your energy, and help you become ultra-resistant to illness so you can live the vibrant life you desire throughout the rest of your life. So my journey in healthcare came about from my first miracle chiropractic adjustment at the age of 16. I had several return visits to the medical doctor as a child for stomach aches, ear infections, and severe abdominal cramping. The pills and injections I received temporarily gave me the relief I was seeking. When I was 15, I was now antibiotic resistant after having the umpteenth ear infection, so tonsil surgery was performed at that time. Turns out the tonsils were in really bad shape, and the surgery became a big deal, taking 2.5 hours. So following that, there were several months of rapid growth and weight gain. And then that summer, I ended up being knocked off the back of my horse. This, in addition to a yet to be discovered spinal scoliosis, was resulting in unrelenting, incapacitating, and frightening low back pain. I felt practically immobilized as my participation in athletics came to a standstill. I agonized over being physically debilitated the rest of my life. So totally distressed, I fervently sought relief from medical and orthopedic specialists to no avail. My hopes were dashed each time. So my aunt recommended her chiropractor. Even with a trusted recommendation from Aunt Helen, Mom was very reluctant to expose me to a chiropractor because all we heard was chiropractors were class. A last resort visit to the chiropractor was the miracle I was looking for. I laid down on the chiropractor's table in extreme pain. After the adjustment, I got up off the table pain-free, and I was elated and astonished at the same time. Being pain-free was initially temporary, as it took several adjustments for things to stabilize. I resumed participating in high school sports. I have never been concerned about being physically limited with back pain like that ever again. So as my astonishment turned to realization, my blanket acceptance of the status quo completely changed. So I no longer was accepting things at face value. Because contrary to medicine and society's view at the time, the chiropractor actually knew something about healing the other doctors did not. And I passionately wanted to know that something too. So at that time, my view of society changed as I could see how mistaken a commonly held view can be. I became more open to all kinds of different ideas. I wondered what else was out there that was also just as wonderful. So my newly found curiosities led me to learn Transcendental Meditation my first year in college. I found meditation, jogging, eating well, and continued chiropractic care helped me meet the demands of my education really much better than partying with my dorm buddies, although that happened on occasion too. I met a classmate who became a lifelong friend early on at Palmer College of Chiropractic. I had developed a sensitivity to the energy people carried as a result of my continuing meditation practice. And Jack's energy was strong and inviting and piqued my curiosity to what was behind his different energy. Jack knew a lot of chiropractors as his father was also a chiropractor. So Jack introduced me to Dr. Bill Bain, who traveled the world presenting on the holistic approach to not only healing, but holistic living as well. I fully embraced the core principles and way of life of an international organization focused actively on engaging in the art of living. I attended many conferences and trainings with Dr. Bain and others, uncovering the powerful secrets to holistic living and holistic healing. I eventually presented at conferences also. So I want to share with you what I learned over the course of 40 plus years in practice, guiding thousands of practice members on their self-healing journey by eradicating stress, generating new levels of energy, supercharging their resistance to disease, so that they're showing up powerfully for their family, their career, and themselves. So the clinical methods I used in the first few years in practice were primarily the ones I learned in chiropractic college. They were excellent. A lot of people were being helped. I was also aware of that there were a number of people being helped only temporarily. And then there were problems keeping returning. And then there was a small group of people I wasn't helping at all. I also knew from my holistic training that emotional stress, poor diet, and our toxic environment were contributing to the very challenges people were facing. Just knowing this wasn't enough without clinical solutions. I was frustrated by this and began attending postgraduate seminars searching for solutions to helping more people get exceptional results. Finally, I discovered that there's a powerful healing truth that your body wants you to discover. And kinesiology easily unlocks this truth in your very first examination. What I have found is that the lives of exceptionally conscientious men and women are breaking down as they spiral downhill due to years in the exhausting rat race. They're in the spiral of adding a few pounds each year, frequent heartburn to the point of having their gallbladder removed, taking blood pressure and cholesterol medication, plus medication to sleep. In addition to whatever self-medicating they're doing, they're dreading reaching that age when the annual screenings are recommended, looking for the big C's, cancer and cardiovascular disease. They're starting to lose trust in the conventional medicine after years of failed pharmaceuticals and their side effects. People are frustrated by the healthcare carousel, where doctors give conflicting recommendations, red pills are given for problems the blue pills caused, and the idea of body parts being removed just doesn't seem right. So currently, it is commonly understood that slips and falls and other traumas, poor posture while sitting, looking at our phones, work stress in the rat race, lack of sleep is damaging our health. But the truth is, it is equally damaging to our health to pay attention to negative news, or to be in COVID fear, or be engaged in the great political divide, or being in personal conflicts at home and at work. The nerve system of people is so short-circuited that attempts to fix their health by eating organic foods, regular visits to juice bars, gyms, yoga and Pilates studios, and even integrated medical providers can't stop the spiraling down. And I've been there. How about you? Until this mysterious root cause of their suffering is resolved, people fear they will continue having progressively increasing pain, fatigue, anxiousness, depression, absent-mindedness, and losing the ability to get around to the point that they become disabled and are unable to be proactive or work or do what they enjoy. But before we go any further, I want to draw your attention to the single most likely person who is going to stop you from achieving the goals this year. And guess who? It's you. It's so easy to trick ourselves into believing we're doing things that will progress us forward when actually we're leaning on the comfort of previous practices or habits that ultimately led us to where we are today. I encourage you to be aware and honest with yourselves about the health goals that you're seeking to improve. Make sure you answer your questions honestly. Be honest with yourself about where you're headed, why you're going there, and what's in store for you if you don't. So a question for you, where does health come from? To resolve the root cause, we must turn our attention to this question. When you get a scrape on your arm and you don't do anything to it, what does it do on its own? It heals and repairs, doesn't it? Our skin doesn't have super healing powers the rest of our body does not have. The heart, pancreas, liver, lungs, stomach, I could go on, the whole body has the potential to heal just like your skin. The key to the relief of my back pain and abdominal spasms when I was a teenager was the restoration of the ability of my body to heal. I can't emphasize enough the significance of this biological fact. The body is designed to be self-healing and self-regulating. With that cut that we had on the arm, we don't even know if IgG or IgEs, antibodies, are showing up. They just do. So the body is designed to heal itself and be self-regulating. So in chiropractic, we state simply, life needs no help, just no interference, because life heals. Your body's ability to heal is greater than anyone has permitted you to believe. What I discovered through kinesiology was how to identify tons more interferences to the body's ability to heal. It is now like being the human whisperer. Most people find the examination on the very first visit to the office to be unlike anything they've experienced before. Using the sensitive touch required for the artful hands-on testing known as palpation, and the functional neurology tested by applied kinesiology or manual muscle test, and this is the body whisperer part, your body will reveal the underlying cause of your problems in your body that are blocking its ability to heal and express health. So I'm excited to share a couple of beginning exam and progress exam wellness scores with you so that you can get a feel for how life-changing it is to heal the healing system of the body. So the test results from each of these examinations are computed into a numerical score on a scale of 0 to 100. So the higher the score, the better your health. And so you're even given a letter grade, just like in school, for easy comparison. So these are a number of tests that are done. This person in December of last year came in and their wellness score was a D-. And so by April of this year, they were up to a level of B. So their health had improved immensely. In this case, this person had started out at a wellness score of an F, and then in a number of months, they were up to a C-. In this person, their wellness score started at an F in November of 2020, and by March of this year, they were up to a B level. So I want to consider with you the role nutrition plays in our health. The nutrition that fuels and heals our body is from whole, alive foods. The other day, many people are taking advantage of like ordering delivery of groceries. And so I guess this was Sunday. And at my front door was someone else's delivery of their groceries. And of all the things in the bags, there was only one thing that I might have eaten, and that was there were some bananas. Otherwise, there was, I think, called Squirt, some power drinks that were like bright red and bright blue, some artificial creamer, just to give you an example. And this is what a person was getting for groceries. So I thought, no wonder we have such chronic illness. And so let's look at the real reason why the wannabe health foods you're eating right now could be blocking your body from healing, and how to give your body the nutrition it's really craving. So down on the farm, so this is actually a picture of the farm where I lived until I was 7 years old. The house had been remodeled since that time, so it didn't look quite that good when I lived there. But there were some warm and fuzzy early memories in my life involving the aroma of breads baking in the oven, digging up potatoes and carrots and storing them in the root cellar from the garden, canning corn, peas, beans, and beets, turning cucumbers into pickles. We also canned fruit and berry jams and jellies. We would just walk down to the milk house of the dairy barn and ladle out some raw milk from the bulk tank. A little while later, we would skim off the cream that had risen to the top of the container. At the same time, modern conveniences were already flooding into our kitchen. Cornflakes, Rice Krispies, store-bought ice cream, crackers, and commercial peanut butters. We moved from the over 100-year-old farmhouse into a new ranch-style home in a small town nearby when I was 7. Now, rather than churning up fresh butter and whipped cream, we had margarine and Cool Whip. The transition into a fast food, junk food nation was moving at warp speed. Our basic meat and potatoes farm diet with homegrown food was now being replaced by convenient but chemically laden, nutrient-empty pseudo-foods. And the effect of this over a decade was a dietary decline, and it was starting to show up in me by the time I started college. I took a health class in undergraduate college where we tracked our daily nutrient intake. At the time, I was consuming over 3,300 calories a day on average. I was well on my way to being overfed and undernourished like a lot of Americans. I even supplemented the high carbohydrate college meal plans with late night pizzas. And so this slide kind of speaks for itself. Honesty would be the best policy. Cravings, cavities, obesity, diabetes, allergies in a bottle. So I was first introduced to the whole food nutritional company standard process early within the first year of chiropractic college. I started learning about whole foods concentrated to a clinical dosage, how they effectively filled in our nutritionally deficient diets and sped up the body's own ability to rebuild new tissue and improve function. I discovered the significant health decline caused by years of extreme deficiencies resulting from sugar and empty calorie carbohydrates consumed isn't actually repaired even from when we totally change over to a healthy diet, as beneficial as that is. Once we've created deficiencies, we have to do something specific. And so specific concentrated nutrition and herbal programs are often required to rebuild and rebalance the drastic bodily damage and decreased organ, gland, and system function. Imagine flying an airplane. Now, I'm not a pilot, but we can imagine flying an airplane. Small movements of the controls easily change the altitude and direction of the plane when it's flying level. But if the plane is in a deep dive, like your declining body, it takes strong force to move the controls enough to pull the plane out of the dive. And so I do evaluations with what's called a symptom survey form, and then we do comparisons of the forms. And so these are some comparative studies. And so basically, when you look at these comparisons of multiple symptom surveys, above the line, you want, like the last survey, that had the highest score on all of these tests. Down here, you want the lowest score because these are the systems of the body and where the symptoms occur. So all these folks improved nicely as a result of their assessments and supplementation. So the flip side of the biochemistry of our body are the chemicals that are not supposed to be there. There is one pain relief mistake keeping all of us stuck in pain. And we're going to talk about how to finally move beyond pain naturally without pills, potions, and poisons. So we're going to be looking at toxicity. Have you heard the story of the boiling frog? The boiling frog is a fable describing a frog being slowly boiled alive. The premise is that if a frog is put into suddenly boiling water, it will jump out. But if the frog is put in tepid water, which is then brought to a boil slowly, it will not perceive the danger and will be cooked to death. Here is the slow boil we are in. There are approximately 80,000 synthetic chemicals registered for use in the US. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention report that hundreds of these chemicals are present in our bodies. Research has shown that many of these chemicals can disrupt our immune, endocrine, nervous, and reproductive systems. So we look at this slide and look at these figures. The reference is actually from 1976. And so we had 14 pounds of additives per year. At that time, 160 pounds of sugar, 8 pounds of salt. And so some feel that the sugar for many today is over 200 pounds. You can start to get a clearer picture of why we need to detoxify our body, like needing to change the oil in a car. We are progressively becoming more toxic just by breathing air, drinking water, eating food, and living in our homes. The average house has more than 60 chemicals considered toxic to the human body, including household cleaners, such things like Teflon, Scotchgard, flame retardants on fabrics. Add this to the chemicals we voluntarily put into our bodies. 55% of Americans regularly take prescription medications, and the average range is 4 to 12 medications per person. And with those over the age of 65, they're taking up to 27 different prescription drugs per year. In 2014, nearly 1.3 million people sought emergency room treatment for adverse drug effects, and about 124,000 people died, according to US government data. And that is the low end of that statistic. Some think it's as high as 180,000 people a year, and others even think up to about 220 to 230,000 people are dying from medical care itself. Obviously, the toxins have a very negative impact on our health. Your body has two ways to deal with those toxins. We absorb from our food and environment. Number one, we bury them in the body fat or tissues, and this results in a lot of the issues listed here. Number two, we remove them, which is the better option. Toxic exposure can put pressure on the body's own natural ability to detoxify. Improper clearance of toxins actually plays a role in all kinds of conditions. We don't connect them with toxicity, but like obesity, cardiovascular disease, joint pain, chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, muscle weakness, headaches, Alzheimer's, memory loss, learning disorders. Are you getting the picture? Practically everything. Early 20th century pioneers of the whole food, nutrition, and detoxification strategies, they were seeing a harmful impact of the processing and chemicalization of food, plus rapid technology advancements, resulting in the widespread manufacture and release of new chemicals into the environment on a yearly basis. It is most important to know that many health consequences of toxicity can actually be reversed with tailored nutritional and homeopathic support. The human body has a well-defined three-phase detoxification system to eliminate toxins. It turns out that how you poop and pee is very important. There are several cleansing and detoxification options I recommend with varying food restrictions. First is the 7-day cleansing program by a gentleman called V.E. Irons. It's short, 1 week, but very intense. The second are homeopathic remedies by Dr. Scott Walker. And then the 21-day cleansing program and the 28-day detoxification programs developed by Standard Process, which was founded by Dr. Royal Lee. There are also a number of introductory 10-day cleansing programs that target detoxification, blood sugar balancing, and healthy inflammatory response for those who want to test the waters, so to speak. What to expect from purification. The benefits of cleansing and detoxification include more energy, improved mood, weight loss, shinier hair, clearer skin, better digestion, and reduced joint and muscle pain. Lab panels have improved with lower blood sugar, cholesterol, triglycerides, and inflammatory markers. And sleep also improves. And guess what? Most weight loss occurs during sleep. We have forgotten what normal elimination is. It is estimated that 75 to 90% of illness and disease is stress and lifestyle related. The powerful neuroemotional technique accelerates your healing and eradicates the stress you didn't even realize you had. So how do we respond to stress? So what I'm mentioning, the neuroemotional technique, this actually started out. A woman chiropractor was taking care of a person who had been in an automobile accident. And so the person was coming in on a regular basis, being adjusted, getting balanced, and then going out, getting in their car and going home. Well, on the next visit, they would be in almost exactly the same shape they were in prior to the prior visit. And the doctor was curious, kind of started asking the person some questions, and they kind of admitted that getting back in the car kind of reminded them of the crunching metal and the breaking glass of the accident. And so the doctor had them actually relive the accident while lying on the table, to feel it, to smell it, to hear the glass breaking, the metal crunching, to be as realistic in reliving the accident as possible. And then gave the adjustment. And that, from that point on, the person started to progressively improve. No longer did getting in their car trigger their same reaction. And this methodology actually is now developed into quite a streamlined process of reducing stress out of the body. So body-related manifestations of stress includes all kinds of conditions, such as chronic and acute physical symptoms, pain of all types, organ dysfunctions, neurological problems, musculoskeletal and immunological conditions, allergies, and much more. And then also mind-related issues, manifestations of stress, including phobias, depression, anxiety, ADD, ADHD, nightmares, disruptive behavior, public speaking fears, emotionally engendered cognitive distortions, and many other problems. So one way to give you a feel for how this process works, imagine that someone brings you a big tray of lemons. And now imagine that someone cuts a lemon in half and hands it to you. You smell the lemon, and then you take a bite out of the lemon, including the rind. Can you feel the lemon juice saturate your tongue and trickle down your throat? Is your mouth watering? If you're like most people, it is. What you're experiencing is your body's natural physiological response to the memory of a lemon. This happens because we have a memory of what a lemon is like, and our physiology responds to that memory. There's an area in our brain that even puts the words you're reading into pictures. And so that part of the brain doesn't know if you're imagining the lemon or if you actually had a lemon. So our body's stress response works in a similar way when triggered with unresolved memories. And so we call this the principle of somatic response, because words carry a meaning and the body responds to that meaning. For For example, a person who has a scared physiological response to a spider may have a similar response to when the word spider is mentioned. I attended my first NET seminar in 1991, and I was blown away. It was unlike anything I was currently using. NET brings the 4 secrets all together. NET is the blending of 4 breakthrough methods for releasing the accumulative, neurological, emotional, biochemical, and toxic stresses to restore self-healing and optimum health. It's really amazing. The results over the last 3 decades are phenomenal. I studied the neuroemotional technique intensely. I met and teamed up with a chiropractor who practiced about 40 minutes away. We got together weekly and spread the manuals out on the table to teach each other the neuroemotional technique. And this was the answer to the mystery of how to restore self-healing and self-regulation. We call this the home run formula. So I assist practice members in hitting a home run and restoring their health. Let's see here. Okay. The root cause, blocking our ability to be self-healing and self-regulating, is now resolved. And so the benefits of the neuroemotional technique, we could describe them as really audacious. When we start, I guide the person through the process with their permission, and within minutes, we find the subconscious stressor. We can actually identify the time of the trauma, the players within that drama, the specific emotion experienced in that drama, make a specific healing intervention, and verify its effectiveness. So the neuroemotional technique and the home run formula solves not only the chronic health problems, but also slows down, stops, and even reverses the downward health spiral you are on. You are no longer fearing that pain is going to progressively increase along with fatigue or anxiousness, depression, and absent-mindedness. You no longer fear losing the ability to get around to the point of becoming disabled. You now have the energy and the power of self-healing, the clarity of mind to make the best choices for yourself and your family. You are once again highly productive at work and play because of eradicating your stress, restoring abundant energy, and becoming resilient to illness, so you enjoy a vibrant career, loving relationships, and the life you desire. The NET technique has been quite well researched. They actually worked with a population of folks who were cancer survivors. They were either in remission or they would be considered cured. But they had 2 traits. One was intrusive thoughts and avoidant behaviors. When it became time to go back for checkups and exams, they just couldn't do it. They just couldn't. And so what was done is they were interviewed and a very detailed script was made of their diagnosis, the time of their diagnosis. In other words, they might have been sitting with their spouse, the doctor standing over them, looming over them, and telling them they have cancer and what the treatment and what it's going to entail, whether surgery, radiation, chemotherapy, etc. And so they created a script and they recorded it for the person to listen to while they were in a functional MRI unit. And so the top slide, the top picture with the arrows pointing, this is where the areas of the brain lit up while they were listening to their diagnosis. And the bottom scan was taken after they'd had 4 to 5 sessions of the NET, mind-body therapy. This was all done at the Marcus Institute of Integrative Health at Thomas Jefferson University in Philadelphia. And so the study found that NET was effective in rapidly reducing symptoms of traumas. So the results of the study were really quite dramatic. And so in 4 or 5 brief sessions, patients who resolved who received NET reported much less distress. Their overall emotional state improved significantly, and the way their brains reacted to stress cues normalized. And so the people who did not have the NET in the control group, they were stressed just the same in the second level studies. So they also did heart rate variability. And so the top slide, when the red lines go up, this is where they were hearing their narrative of their diagnosis. And then this was the second heart rate variability. And it really didn't affect them much at all. So on a scale of 1 to 10, for instance, they would have reported their stress levels at a level of 8 or 9 prior to the intervention. And after the NET sessions, they were now at a level of 1 or 2. So this was the first study that the researchers were aware of that assessed the combined neurophysiological and clinical effects of an intervention for traumatic stress symptoms. And that most importantly offers a demonstrable solution. So you will now have the energy and power of self-healing, the clarity of mind to make the best choices for yourself and your family. You're once again highly productive at work and play because of eradication of your stress, restoring your abundant energy, and being resilient. And being resilient to illness so that you can enjoy a vibrant career, loving relationships, and the life you desire. And so this is some of the scanning that I do in my office, looking for stress in the musculature particularly. And so in this particular case, this person had come in, the scans on the left, this person had come in, we had done the testing and scans. They had some actually pain down their arm at that point and made recommendations, and they chose not to receive care. And so 3 years later, they came back in and redid the testing. And so subsequently, like ideally we'd want all these bars to be white. And so what this demonstrated is progressively going in a downward spiral over the next 3 years. Here in this screen, so their musculature was even more out of balance. In this case, we're looking actually at heart rate variability. It's kind of hard to see. They were right here on the first test, and then they dropped down into the orange on their subsequent tests 3 years later. This is looking at difference in skin temperature, and so they had greater imbalance 3 years later. So consider, if you will, the number of chronic conditions you've been diagnosed with. When will each one of these be resolved? What do you anticipate would happen if you stop taking medications? Isn't that really your true state of health? We believe we're maintaining our health where it is. Many problems will be the same next week, next month, next year. We believe that, but in fact, they're actually going downhill. So these scan examples show if no action's taken, there's no point in the future where you will take less time nor less money to restore your health than it does today. And so this was the range of motion for this person. So the white column would be the normal degree of motion that the neck should have. And the brown was the person's first score, the purple is their second. So in all except one case, their spine was much less flexible than it was on the prior score. So now you have a choice. You can take everything I've shared with you today and do nothing. Try to figure it out on your own. Ask Dr. Google, who's owned by Big Pharma. Hope it will go away. Wait for the magic pill always being promised but never delivered. Or I have a better option. And I'm I've had an amazing time sharing this with you. I'm hoping you've had an amazing time too and gotten a lot out of this presentation, but there's only so much I can cover in 60 minutes. So let me ask you a question. This is some amazing stuff, isn't it? If I'm telling you straight, isn't this taking your health in the direction you desire? On a journey to eradicate stress, generate new levels of energy, supercharge your resistance to disease so that you're showing up powerfully for your family, your career, yourself? I ask you, how would you like it if you could work with me directly so that I could help you implement what we've just talked about? How cool would it be to put together an individualized wellness plan to have the level of health you really want? I think it'd be pretty cool, wouldn't it? So what if we struggle? You will face times when your health goals seem unachievable. It could simply be your perception, or it may actually be circumstances. And it's these times when our vigilance is tested. Here's a list of some go-to methods to help in these times. Like make an immediate to-do list. What can be done right now to ease your struggle? Remember what you're grateful for. Applaud yourself for how far you've come, not how far there's yet still left to go. Visualize the healthy person that is inside you. What does that person see, hear, feel in your healthy state? Can you decide this is the person you want to be? Start small. As always, don't expect good things to come without effort. Baby steps. Always have that personal motivation story, picture, or image ready to present to yourself whenever you feel close to burning out. What made you want to change? External motivation and end goals can be good, but there's ultimately nothing like a personal sense of fulfillment when it comes to dreams, goals, and achieving success. If anybody feels like sharing their personal motivation in the comments, I'd love to see some. Ultimately, no matter what New Year's health goal you're looking to achieve this year, I want you to leave this webinar today with the knowledge that you deserve to enjoy every single moment of meeting your health goal. When it becomes like a chore, when you feel down, negative, or disillusioned with your potential for success, that's when you know something needs to change. It could be your attitude, your actions, or your reasoning and motivation for striving for it. When this happens, return to your intention, your motivation. What is the reassurance you need to get back on track? Where will it come from? Break down the larger issues into smaller, manageable steps, and you'll begin to realize that lasting change is possible. Our minds are our most powerful tools in the setting and achievement of goals. And if nothing else, I really hope this lesson has helped you realize this. If you're ready to get started, I would like to outline how we do that. So we take an initial history. Actually, a history, come see me, is 11 pages. So we go into great depth and great detail. Actually, you're doing 4 histories in one. And then we sit down and do a consultation, and I go over the histories with you, dig deep into what's been going on, how long it's been going on, and what your goals are, what you want to accomplish. Then we do an evaluation examination to determine what's happening physically in your body. This is the human whisper exam, kinesiology. Many times, in spite of the in-depth history and consultation, I will still find things on the exam that a person forgot to tell me. Then we do a computerized neurological assessment. I analyze all the results. We get together for a second visit, go over the report of findings. And all through this process, my first objective is to make sure that you're in the right office, that I'm the right doctor for you. And that's actually quite easy to determine in the examination. There's a list of criteria that You must meet in order for me to be able to assist you. And if the examination, if I don't find that criteria, then I will certainly work with you to find the practitioner or the doctor that would be of help to you. So I have an individualized care plan. And so if you are ready at this point, you can go and take a scan or take a snapshot of this screen, or you can even do the barcode that'll take you to my website where you can schedule for your initial visit. And also the website listing is listed down below. Also, you might have questions. And so I've set aside some time to carve out on my calendar to have a 15-minute conversation where I can go over and where I can understand exactly what's been going on, what you've tried, what's worked, what has not worked, and help point you in the right direction. If I think there might be a fit to work together, we can talk about that, but I just want to be able to serve and support you. If we're not the right fit, I will try to point you in the right direction. So this call is for people who are looking for solutions to restore and optimize their health. This call is not for the person who is inflexible about their lifestyle and seeks help only when in crisis and quits as soon as the immediate crisis is over. All you need to do is let me know you'd like to schedule a time. As long as I still have availability in my schedule, we can find a time that works and get that scheduled. Real simple. And so I have some free gifts for you in appreciation for you extending your time and being with me tonight. And so these gifts for you, which I'll send to you by email, send you a wellness check online to find out how bad it is, symptom survey, toxicity questionnaire, and be happy to set up a 15-minute consultation to go over those results with you. And also have some gifts for you to help yourself. A copy of what's called FAST, the first aid stress tool. You get into those stressful moments, and this is a hands-on procedure you can do for yourself. Takes a few minutes and can help take you out of that kind of primal state, that stress state. Also included is what's called a PAGE, Dr. Page Fundamental Food Plan, and then links to videos on NET research. And so these are complimentary for you, and I will be sending these out to you after our time together tonight. So I'm convinced that what I've just shared with you is the healthy solution you're looking for. I'm excited to share something that is incredibly curative to many problems. I encourage you to begin your journey to eradicate stress, generate new levels of energy, supercharge your resistance to disease so that you are showing up powerfully for your family, your career, and yourself. I understand that there's probably several emotions coming to the surface. One could be excitement. Two could be overwhelm. I want you to know that both are great emotions. Your excitement will drive you. The overwhelm will force you to take this process more seriously. Your goals for the new year will hopefully add to a higher quality of life, not just for you, but for your friends and family too. You can take the inspiration they might need to take similar steps. You can be the inspiration they might need to take similar steps. If you feel like you need support on this journey, I'm more than happy to help. I love guiding people who are ready to take their life to the next level. I've had an amazing time with you. I'm hoping you've had an amazing time too, and gotten a lot out of this presentation. I look forward to how you choose for us to work together going forward. And so take a screen capture of this slide for contact information. I'm here to support you on your healing journey. Look forward to what path you choose. Have a most memorable holiday and Happy New Year. The end. And let's see.
Holy cow,